Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and welcome to my wrap up for October. I read 10 books this month and I'd love to yap about them from least to most favorite. I feel like my reading's been pretty good this year where I don't really have a lot of low books. So it sounds dramatic like I'm ranking them, but there's nothing lower than a 3 here, I don't think. I am gonna try to be briefer than usual because I lost my second camera battery. And so it's a bitch when I have to film a video. The camera dies and it takes like 40 minutes to charge and then I have to like get back into it. So we're gonna make this brief. Let's go. Starting off with my least favorite book of the month, that is Space Vampire. And like, I can't be mad at this because it's exactly what it is. It's like very short paranormal romance novella. We have a woman who's trapped on like a space station with a bunch of aliens and she's like a pet. They literally keep her in a little cage and like she's just a pet. Not sexual, just like an animal to them. Clearly not a great situation. And then one day everyone on the ship is slaughtered and lo and behold, there's a vampire on board. He's actually a vampire clone. Why she decided to include that, I think it was to get out of like making lore, but I love a clone story even though we don't really get too much detail on that. And it's just them finding each other hot. It's a very quick read. I just got nothing out of it, but again, I can't be mad at it. So I feel like I have to give it a 3, but also I read a very short paranormal vampire romance that's my favorite book this month. So maybe it's like a 2.75. I don't know. I know a lot of my friends really enjoyed this one though and hated the one that I loved. We all have different tastes, whatever. Let's move on. Next up, I finally got to the third book in this series, Beg, Borrow, or Steal. This is an interconnected series. I think that's what it's called when you follow like different characters in each book, but you see them throughout all the other books. The first book was a singer and a dude, and the other books are the dude's sisters. This book follows the eldest daughter. She's a teacher. This is set in summer though, so we don't see her like doing any teaching. And she has a rival, and they fall in love. It's enemies to lovers, and it is fun how much they dislike each other. Our girlie is very much like protecting herself from falling in love because she doesn't quite believe in it. And the dude has some family drama. He also has a big secret that was kind of fun. I just looked up the synopsis to see what I could tell you and they like put everything in here. So I guess I can tell you, he is an author, but he writes underneath a pen name. So it's like this big secret. And at the same time, our girlie is trying to write her first like romance novel. It's funny that they say this is a plot point because it just seemed like one tiny part of the book, but I'll tell you it because it was fun. With their chemistry-fueled animosity at an all-time high, Emily accidentally sends an email to their school's principal that could reveal her secret literary side hustle. She literally sends him the manuscript to her smutty-ass novel. It was very funny, and so they kind of team up, but also, like, that is just a tiny portion of this book. I think overall, this series is just so sweet. I think this one was a little too sweet for me, which is funny because this one, the second book, was following the youngest sister and that was kind of her shtick. Like everyone saw her as this like sweet little girl. I love this one. I thought this was so fun, sweet, a little cringe, but hey, so am I. And I think there was so much heart in it and I really liked the couple. This one just felt like I don't know, just your run-of-the-mill romance book. I didn't feel much when I was reading it. It was entertaining enough and it didn't piss me off, so I kept reading it, but it's definitely my least favorite in the series so far. I am so excited for the next one. I think it comes out in December. Am I making that up? Yes, December. This one they've kind of been teasing since day one almost. And so yeah, I'm fucking excited. I can't wait to get to it. Next up, Hemlock and Silver. This is a Snow White retelling, except you're not getting the POV of Snow White. It's through this healer named Anya's point of view. It's so funny. Like I think the entire time I was vlogging and reading the ebook, I called her Anja and then I saw someone else review it and it's like Anya and now I feel really stupid. But yes, we're following Anya and she's a healer, but more specifically, she studies poisons and anecdotes. And King Fisher just knows how to write a very niche hobby and interest in a character, especially when it's sort of science related. And as someone who is not science related at all, I find it really interesting and I love all the detail that she goes into. I also liked how King Fisher played around with the Snow White story because it's not just a cut and paste retelling. Basically, Snow is a young girl and her mother recently tried to carve out her sister's heart and both of them passed away. So yeah, and Snow is now showing symptoms of being very ill. So Snow's father, the king, begs Anya to come to the castle, ? And try to figure out what's going on and also how to cure Snow. So it's sort of a mystery of what is happening and how to fix it. This was more wholesome and cute than I thought it was going to be. Something I've discovered I both love and hate in King Fisher's writing though, and this book opened my eyes to it, is that sometimes she really over-explains. And it's not even like an over-explanation, it's that the characters are trying to solve a problem and she loves to describe how they're going to solve the problem. Like, they can't just investigate, they need to figure out a way of how they're going to figure out a way to investigate. And I love it, but it's sometimes too much in her books for me. It's something I've noticed, but at the same time, like, if it wasn't there, I would be frustrated also. So I just wish there was a little bit less problem solving. I am very picky. I know it sounds annoying to like listen. I'm annoying myself just saying these words, but hey, I said what I said. I will always read T. Kingfisher's books though. I love her wit. I love her characters. I think she's just so cozy, but like funny in a self-deprecating, witty way, and like no one else writes quite like she does, and I crave it. I really do. Even though I haven't found, oh wait, I did give this 5 stars, didn't I? I'm looking for another 5-star from this baddie, but I honestly wouldn't be disappointed if I only ever gave her 3.5s or 4s for the rest of my life, and I genuinely mean that. Like, I will still be picking up her books no matter what. Next up, Interview with the Vampire, a novel by Anne Rice. I think, was it 2022 or 2023? I made this video where I was talking about how I loved the first half of books and hated the second half, or like I both love and hate these books at the same time, and this is a contender for that type. I've read so many of a love-hate book this year. I think I'm gonna have to do another video at the end of the year. This is going on it because the first half of this is so rich. There's so much detail. It's so slow-paced. It's so atmospheric. It feels like an actual thing like that happened. It's that well written. And then the second half, I'm like, what are we doing? And I was like racing to finish because I was like tired of it. A crazy range of patience and emotions that I had while reading this book. Ultimately, I think it's very much worth it. Just for that first half, I will be rereading it, and I will be reading the second book, the Lestat book, but I need to actually purchase it because I would love to mark it up. This is so underlinable, and there's so much meat in this book, like so many things to think about philosophically. So in case you don't know, this is a book about a vampire named Louis, and it's being told in 2 separate ways. It is an interview of Louis. This kid is interviewing a vampire. Didn't really believe him, I don't think, when he set this up, but we start off as they're in a room together. Louis sort of reveals his not so human face, and the interviewer kid basically almost pisses himself. And so that's the actual story that's happening, is Louis telling this story. So I love a story within a story. But the story he's telling is so fucking jam-packed and written so well that I often forget that we're in this room with this interviewer. And so Louis will go into story time, and then there'll be a line that says, the interviewer coughed. It's like, oh fuck, I forgot we were in this room. Louis talks briefly about his human life, but we talk about him being transformed into a vampire. A vampire named Lestat changes him. It's very different from the TV show. I only watched the first episode in this vlog. It was fucking phenomenal. I can't wait to watch that show, but I think I need to read Lestat first. That show puts so much more detail in both Louis and Lestat and their friendship, ? Whereas in this book, they don't interact until he's bitten him and changed him, and they hate each other pretty much from the get-go. Or at least Louis hates Lestat. And so it is their weird relationship over time, and they add someone else to their fucked up little family, and that was so interesting. It's all very devastating. It's very bloody and unapologetically like killer-ish, which I do appreciate, but also Louis as a character is just so insufferable, but he's written to be insufferable. He is like on his highest horse. He's very judgy about Lestat and all the vampires around him, and yet he's killing people too, you know? He's that kind of character. The first half was just so full of details, just such a slow pacing, and the dynamics between the 3 people in this family was so tense, and it changed. There were so many layers to it. It was just so psychologically fascinating. And then there's quite a big shift throughout this book, and there's like one very, very fucking long scene where it almost is giving circus energy, and I hate a circus book. It's not a circus, but it's some sort of performance, and like, Jesus Christ, it would not end. And all of a sudden there's all these characters, and I am just feeling like, what has happened to the pace? What has happened to the story? And at the very end, there was an abrupt kind of thing. I don't know. I'm pissed off at the end still. So I am giving this 3.5. Like, I hated the last half of this so much. Maybe not quite the last half. Could have even been like the last third of the book. I can't quite remember. But again, I do think this is fucking worth it. And I will be rereading it until we get to that circus energy shit. And I honestly can't wait for this book because I hear that people love it. And then it's weird. People either hate or love the third book. I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading until I can't stand it. I would like that etched on my gravestone, please. Next up, starting off the 4 stars, we have Cinder House. This was so good. And I was pleasantly surprised because I was so excited to read it and it didn't disappoint me. It's pretty short. It was only like 140 something pages. This month I read a lot of short books and it reminded me how much I fucking adore them because they get right to the fucking point. That being said, this was a little slow paced at first and I do appreciate that as well. I think the author did such a good job of making this like a really rich character story. I think I've said the word rich several times in this video. That's what the word of the month was for me in my reading. Rich, tasty, meaty. Anyway, we got so much of our main character and what she was going with. We got little tastes of the fantasy and then we kind of jump into the Cinderella of it all. This is a Cinderella retelling and our main character, I think her name was Ella. She and her dad are killed, but she stays as a ghost in this house. And it was so cool reading about her connection with the house because she is the house, but also she's not. She's tethered to it and it's both good and annoying for her. It was very fascinating to read. And she does have a stepmother and 2 step siblings. And you see as they bully the fuck out of her. I hate reading that in a Cinderella retelling, but also I love it because damn, Cinderella was something that I related to while I was growing up, which sounds so pick me, but bullied by doing housework, literally the story of my life growing up. I think the descriptions of the house and of her connection to the house was just the best part of this. And everything made logical sense. Like she was being bullied and I think I always wonder in a book, like, why is this character put up with this for so long? I'm acting like I didn't put up with it for so long, whatever. I think earlier this year, I was reading a lot of books where like it didn't make logical sense what was going on and I get so frustrated with that. This, everything made sense and they fit it into the fairy tale and wove it in so perfectly. And again, this was a great retelling because it was so different. Like Cinderella's not a ghost, but also the outline is still there. I think this was just an excellent use of free will on the author's part. But yeah, there's a ball, there's shoes, and it does say in the synopsis, so I can tell you that for 3 nights, Ella is able to live like almost like a real girl again. And so she goes to this ball, and of course there's a prince. I'm not gonna spoil the ending. It did end in a way I was not expecting, and I've never read it in a retelling before. Very entertaining. Next up, Willing Prey. This was an unhinged romance and it's funny that it's up so high because I think when I first finished it, I gave it like a 3.5, maybe a 3.75, and it has edged its way up because as much as I don't think the overall story was great, like the plot that tried to happen was so lame. The ending was just like, we didn't need that. But the unhinged part of this was just so good and so fun. Capital F fun. And I think that's what really drives me in like remembering a book as a favorite or not. This was so fucking fun that it's a 4-star now and it was so good. And I don't even remember the frustrations at this point towards the end of the book and like the annoying miscommunication. Oh god. Okay, now that I'm reminding myself, the 3rd act was so fucking illogical, so stupid, so avoidable, not great, but this was so fun. I'm sorry. So this book is about a woman. She's a PE teacher. It's the summer, so she's not working. She usually waits tables or something, but instead her ex-husband's boss makes her an offer, says that he will give her $1,000 a day for 30 days, so 30 grand. I don't know if you can do the math. If she stays with him in his house and occasionally lets him hunt her in the backyard. Yeah. And how it happens is that she wears like a smartwatch. It'll go off and it will have a number. And that's how many minutes she has to go hide in the backyard and run away. And then he has to like chase her down. It's very steamy. Do not read this unless you like smut. Honestly, unless you love smut, because if you're just like a passive smut reader, this will probably get on your nerves. The amount of times that this couple bangs, or at least like the length of the scenes. I don't know. I liked it. I do love some smut, but I just love that our character is all in on this. Like she enjoys it. That's why she agreed to do that. I like how they make it very clear that this is kind of fucking toxic, but also consensual. And I like that both of them are fucking crazy. Like she is going all out in this because she's having fun with it, but also she knows that if she sort of backs down or submits too easily, then he's going to break off this agreement that they have, because apparently he's had a couple other girls he's tried this with and they didn't last more than a week. So she is like fighting to the death, but at the same time thoroughly enjoying herself, and it's just so much fun. It's so much fun from the get-go. Like, they really didn't make us wait too long until we got to some fun. I'll probably reread this, and I can't wait to read more from this author. I think this is her first official book. This was actually a novella that the author had written, and now she's published it into a full-length novel. But in the author's bio, it says that she writes monster romance. And like, I am waiting with bated breath. Is that the expression? I will be reading whatever she publishes next because this was just so fun. Next up, I read Landlocked in Foreign Skin. This is a sapphic sci-fi novella by Drew Huff. Look at this shit. Look at it. This was actually my Patreon buddy read. Usually every month I ask everyone to vote for a few different things. So I'll be like, what genre do you want to read? We all vote. Then I ask, do you want to read like a new release or a backlist? They all vote. Then I ask them for write-ins. We see which one's most popular, and then we vote on like the most 4 popular ones. It's a whole process. I really like doing it. But for October, I did things a little differently, and I just asked everyone to give one title, and it had to sort of fall under a Halloween umbrella. So it could be a scary book. It could be just set on the night of Halloween. It could be like a general fiction that just is at a Halloween party, a monster romance, literally anything that has the flavor of Halloween. And I randomly selected this book suggested by the lovely Kim, and oh my god, I think because I'd never heard of this, I had no idea what to expect, and I got so much out of it. Like, I have to give it a 4.5, maybe a 4.25, but it's like wiggling up there because it's so unique. And I think because I was so surprised, that really does like make me like a book more sometimes. This is a wild synopsis. Our main character is a non-binary alien. You know how I feel about the aliens. And the way this alien species works is that they have a skin, and whatever environment they end up in, they can change their skin to shapeshift into something that can withstand and thrive in that environment. So our alien gets abducted, and they peel their skin off of their body and hold it like in prison, like in a cell, so that our alien can't get it, and that they're trapped here now in their human body. And they're actually on a ship. These aliens are called fishermen, I guess because they're in the ocean. I don't know if this is a different planet. It's kind of vague, and I kind of like that. So fisherman, that's what I'm gonna call the alien, is on the ship now, and the person in charge of the ship is named Isabel. Isabel is a rich bitch, and she actually got this crew together to find a fisherman, because the rumor is that the fishermen have a god that will grant wishes. So Isabel kidnaps and holds this alien captive to try to get on the good side of the god. Like, I don't know where her logic is. Isabel is a very interesting character because she's doing all this to try to help her girlfriend who's injured. And so you kind of feel for her, but also like she's holding the alien captive. And at the same time, our alien is very attracted to Isabel in their new human body. And so they do bang it out. And it's this weird toxic relationship. And then this turns into an actual soap opera with plot twists after identity reveal. And it's all this kind of thing. And it was really fun. It was kind of a big switch in pace and in like vibe, but I really liked it. I was like, oh wow, where are we going? And it really doesn't stop until the end. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. It gets very bloody. And it's funny because I think the first half I was reading this, I forgot that it was horror. But yeah, it's horror. I think the thing I loved most about this book is that I got all the emotions. It was sad, it was funny, it was hot, it was thought-provoking. None of the characters were like super good or evil except Fisherman. I think our alien was just an angel, but I just loved how this author handled the ending. I love how this author handled the characters. It's very nuanced. And yeah, this came out of nowhere and I'm so happy I read it. So cool. I feel like my battery's about to die, but let's get into my third favorite book of the month, and that is Mate. Also, what a chunky queen. This is an ovulation book if I ever read one. Also, I did vlog this. It's gonna be the next video you see. So you'll see an in-depth review and like my process of reading this in the video when it publishes, but like I had to talk about it, obviously. I ended up giving it, I think 4.5. I think right when I finished it, it was more like a 4.25, but like, goddamn, this was made for me. This was written for all the girlies who like sniffing their partner's clothes. So yeah, it really worked on me. This is the second book in a series, and I do think you probably need to read the first one, but also if you don't care, like, I don't think it really matters. But in this book, there's a character who's sort of in danger sure. I'm trying to be vague so I don't spoil anything for the first book. And her only option is to go and live with her mate, who is a werewolf. They are fighting against this attraction that they have for each other. It's not enemies to lovers. They don't hate each other, but like they can't be together. And you know what? It kind of makes sense why they can't be together. And for that, Allie, thank you. The logic, the logic, the logic. And that just makes it hotter. It really does. I think Allie did such a good job with the tension in this book, because in Bride, it simmered out so quickly. And I really felt like nothing towards the couple towards the end. I love them. I love these two. I love the tension, even though it's very smutty, and I don't think it takes that long to get to smut specific stuff. It did feel like a slow burn because of all of the angst and yearning. I think Allie did a phenomenal job. There is like an unhinged element in here that is just so funny slash fun, and I clocked it almost immediately. I love to see authors doing this kind of crazy shit. I wish I could tell you about it. I wish I could chat about it, but like, this is what I want to read in a smutty paranormal romance. Exactly what I want to read. In my head, before I read this book, I thought this series was gonna go on just because like I wanted it to, but also like I don't know that it is, because I think we've wrapped up the duology. I don't know. I'm gonna keep my heart set on Allie continuing to write paranormal romance, because I just like, I need more of it. And my hopes are pretty high based on another book in this wrap up. But yeah, such a fun time. Definitely enjoyed it more than Bride, and it might be one of my favorite Allie Hazelwood books. I'm trying to think of my ranking. I'll have to save that for another day though. My second favorite book of the month, and honestly, I feel like even though it's not a total 5-star, it might be by the end of me talking about it. I fucking love this. It's like a 4.75. This was also fucking unhinged and hot. This again gave me so many emotions, and I think that's what makes me love a book, is when I can feel sad and happy and joyful and sexy and like ew. There was a lot of ew in here, but like, oh my, I think I had to be pretty vague with this, but we're following a woman named, oh god, I'm so sorry, girl, Kinsey. She's a scientist. She has 6 people on her team, and they are staying in some desert. There's hardly anything close around them, and again, it's kind of vague on where and when they are. It almost feels like there's some place else. I don't know. They don't make it very clear. I love that. Anyway, on the first page of the book, the team finds a specimen. It's like a creature in this desert land. They bring it into their hut, I don't know what scientists call their tents. They usually only bring dead things in there. Turns out this specimen is alive, and instantly Kinsey is like intrigued by this specimen. What can I say? The longer the specimen is there, the more her carefully controlled life begins to unravel. Kinsey's life. Temptation has found her after all, and it can't be ignored any longer. I'm sorry, I can't not giggle. One by one, Kinsey's team realizes the thing that they're studying is in search of a new host, and one of them is the perfect candidate. And they mention the thing. Is that a movie? I have no idea what it's talking about, but I think I've read some reviews after this was finished, and I saw a lot of people comparing it. So if you've watched that movie and read this book, let me know your opinions on the connection between the two. Is it like a close retelling? I just can't imagine anything else like this. Like, this is so unique and so something that was written for me. Sarah Gailey just gets me, okay? I love The Echo Wife, and okay, this is 5 stars. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Why didn't I give it 5 stars initially? I know there must have been something. Oh, there was a tiny little thing that it felt like illogical. It felt like they were, oh, battery's dying. All right, I'm back. No idea what I was saying. But yeah, I love this book, and it's a 5-star. The fact that I can hardly even remember that tiny little thing that bugged me while I was reading it. Like, overall, this is a memorable story that I will never forget. Thank you, Sarah Gailey. I did vlog this as well, so it'll be in my next vlog. I think it was a fun time. I haven't edited it yet. But yeah, this surprised me and just delighted me. And finally, we have Hot for Slayer, which is in my #1 spot. And it's funny because I think this was my highest rated book of the month. And like, while I was reading it, this is a perfect book. I am picky, okay? Not once during this book was I like, that's annoying, or that doesn't make sense. Like, this is perfectly written. And so yes, it's my highest rated book, but also like, I think my favorite of the month might be Spread Me. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, ratings should reflect that, but fuck it. This was 5 stars. It was phenomenal. It was perfect. At least for me. So this is a vampire romance by Allie Hazelwood, the second that I read this month. Well, the first, but one of 2. We have a very old vampire girl and we have a very old vampire slayer dude. And in this story, slayers or hunters are also immortal. And they have been running around each other, catching and chasing. It's like a cat and mouse game. It's giving Tom and Jerry, except they sort of flirt when they come into contact with each other. So we open up the story, I think 1989. I believe that's the year of the snake. And they're like flirting as they're literally stabbing each other. And Ali Hazelwood somehow made the scene hot. It was so good. He like licks the blood off. Anyway, we jump into a present timeline that I think is like today, you know? And our girly is actually being attacked by something else, someone else. The dude comes and saves her, and in the chaos ends up hitting his head. And when he wakes up, he has amnesia. He has no idea that there are vampires. He doesn't know that he's a hunter or that he's immortal. He doesn't know that he supposedly hates this vampire chick. But she's there and she stays with him to make sure that he's okay, which is, oh wait, no, she stays there because she can't go out in the sunlight. But she also makes it a point to make sure he's okay. And so they start kind of bonding in his amnesiaed state, and she's like lying and trying to come up with an excuse of like how they know each other. And it was just very fun watching this character try to bullshit. She wasn't very good at it, but it was funny. And then there's forced proximity because she doesn't know where to take the hunter. He can't go to a hospital because he is very much like not human, and she doesn't want him to be like permanently hunted or captured or studied. So she lets him stay at her place. And it's a very cozy, chill, it's like 90 pages this book is, but I think the story was actually so good. I think for what this was, it was pretty slow paced, like in terms of a slice of life feeling, but also I don't think you could call this a slow burn, but it kind of was. And it was so cute. I just think it was perfect. There was some action, some gore. I feel like Ali Hazelwood often loses me in the action sequences. Actually, I think that's part of the reason like this isn't a higher score rating, whatever. But I think because this was such a short book and we didn't spend too much time on that, but we still got it, this was just a perfect combination of things. I'm obsessed. I never read Ali's novellas of like the science-y novellas, and I think one a lot of people were recommending in the comments of the vampire video that I just did where I read Hot for Slayer. So I definitely want to read that, and I hope she's continuously writing. I think she's written like 4 things this year. She's on fire. She'll never be extinguished. She's just a queen, and I love her, and I love this book. It was so fun. But it is funny when I think about it, because like I feel like I'm raving more about some other books, but like this was, while I was reading it, so perfect. Everything I wanted. No flaws in this. All right, that's it. I feel like I talked less than I usually did, so maybe this won't be 100 years long. I'm gonna go edit the vlog in which, again, I read these 2 books and I read Bare Bones. The vampires just never end, okay? So I gotta get to it. I'll see you later. Goodbye.